Nigeria raises alarm over effects of COVID-19 on industry. Serap asks federal government compel state governors to fund healthcare with security votes. Governor Rotimi Akeredolu says he's still in governorship race. And now the news in detail. After activating the 2020 budget implementation, the federal government has proposed to spend 11.86 trillion naira in 2021. Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Mrs. Zainab Ahmed, made this revelation while presenting the Medium-Term Expenditure Framework (MTEF) 2021 to 2023 in Abuja last Friday. Notwithstanding this adventurous spending projection, Ahmed also stated that the country's fiscal fortunes will suffer a deficit of 5.16 trillion naira because of the government's projected ability to generate only 6.98 trillion naira revenue, all in 2021. Interestingly, while the naira has been devalued to 380 naira per dollar, the Minister of Finance has pegged exchange rate in 2021 fiscal year at 360 naira per dollar. The 2021-2023 MTEF/FSP is a pre-budget statement that provides the framework for the development of the 2021 budget. Zainab Ahmed said it is being framed against the backdrop of a challenging global macroeconomic environment as well as domestic factors. The government, she said, will aim to keep the deficit within the 3% ceiling over the medium term and are therefore working on identifying new revenue sources and cost reductions. The draft 2021 to 2023 MTEF FSP, she noted, has been prepared against a backdrop of heightened global economic uncertainty. In the meantime, no fewer than 247 Nigerians stranded in Thailand and Malaysia due to the coronavirus pandemic have returned home. Some of the evacuees disembarked at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, on Saturday night, while the others proceeded to the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Lagos. Announcing their arrival through his Twitter handle yesterday, the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, NITCOM, said the repatriation flight with number APK 7813 was operated by an indigenous airline, Air Peace. NITCOM noted that all the returnees tested negative for the coronavirus before the departure of the flight, adding that each of them would observe 14 days self-isolation and take another COVID-19 test. He stated that those who test negative after the second test could freely join the society, while those who test positive would be moved to isolation centers for treatment. Meanwhile, the National Parents Teachers Association of Nigeria, NAPTAN, has said it is confused about the proclamation by the Minister of Education, Adamu, that school children nationwide would not be allowed to sit the West African Senior School Certificate Examination, WACS, stated for August 4 as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. The NAPTAN National President, Alhaji Haruna Danjuma, in an interview with journalists last Thursday, said the association had resolved to meet Adamu today to seek an amicable solution. NAPTAN had in the last week of May called on the government to reopen schools nationwide to pupils who will be sitting external examinations of the West African Examinations Council and the National Examinations Council. The association said parents had resolved to work together with schools to put measures in place, such as the provision of face masks, hand washing containers, and hand sanitizers to minimize the risks of virus contraction by the pupils. Reacting to Adamu's directive that pupils would not be able to sit the WACS this year, Juma said parents were confused and thus they would seek an audience with the government on the matter. In a related development, Ogun State government says it has yet to agree on the date to reopen churches and mosques as requested by the Christian Association of Nigeria, CAN. The state government added that CAN should not compare markets with churches, saying the continued closure of worship centers was taken in consultation with the leadership of the two religious bodies. The special advisor to Governor Dapo Abiodun on public communications, Remi Hassan, stated this while reacting to CAN's stance on the continued closure of churches, which the association declared was unjustifiable. The association had, in a statement last Wednesday by Pastor Adebayo Oladeji, the Special Assistant, Media and Communications to the President, Reverend Shukwu Ayokunle, kicked against the continued closure of churches, particularly in Lagos and Ogun states. You're listening to Timsaid Morning News, coming to you from Timsaid 94.1 FM, transmitting from Iliajun Okeagboja, Ijebu-Jesha in the state of Osun, Nigeria. You're welcome back. You can watch us live and direct on YouTube and Facebook at Timsaid 94.1 FM. You can also listen to us globally on Radio Garden. Download Timsaid app on Google Play Store. And now to the rest of the news. The Poultry Association of Nigeria, PAN, has raised the alarm over the effects of COVID-19 on the industry. The association declared that the industry is under siege and may soon collapse following the rising cost of maize and other inputs of the poultry feeds. The PAN chairman in Ogun State, Mrs. Blessing Alawode, while addressing journalists in Abeokuta, added that it was high time the federal government rescued the industry to curb further economic crisis in the country. She lamented that the prices of feed had constituted more than 75% of the cost of production in the poultry industry. The Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project, SERAP, has filed a lawsuit asking the Federal High Court, Abuja, to compel governors to use funds budgeted for security votes and life pensions for ex-governors to fund the COVID-19 fight. Demanding that the money be expended on healthcare facilities, SERAP also wants publication of details of spending on COVID-19 in all states. The body in the suit is seeking a declaration that the failure of the governors to respond satisfactorily amount to a fundamental breach of the FOI Act, the 1999 Nigerian Constitution as amended, and the African Charter on Human and People's Rights. SERAP's suit followed Freedom of Information FOI requests dated 25 April 2020, expressing concern that governors are spending scarce state resources to pay themselves security votes and their predecessors' life pensions, rather than using public funds to effectively respond to COVID-19 by investing in and improving public healthcare facilities in their states. SERAP revealed that only two governors, Nasiru El-Rufai of Kaduna and Abdulrahman Abdulrazak of Kwara State, responded to its FOI request. SERAP's suit filed by Kolawole Oluwadari and Atinuke Adejuigbe insists that governors have a responsibility to act in the interest of Nigerian citizens and residents in their states under the Code of Conduct for Public Officers of the Nigerian Constitution and oath of office of the governor of a state. No date has been fixed for the hearing of the suit. Nigerian Army has reacted to the report making the rounds that its soldiers, numbering over 380, have applied to the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai, for voluntary retirement. Reports recently emerged on different media platforms that the soldiers have applied for voluntary retirement, citing lack of interest. The soldiers from the Northeast and other theaters of operation include Master Warrant Officers, Staff Sergeants, Lance Corporals, and Privates. While 356 of the soldiers were said to have cited loss of interest, 24 cited to take a traditional title. The soldiers were said to have written to the Army Chief on July 3, 2020, where they quoted the Harmonized Terms and Conditions of Service Soldiers Revised 2017. The Chief of Army Staff was also said to have approved their request for the voluntary disengagement in a 17-page circular, which was allegedly signed by Brigadier General T.E. Gagariga on behalf of Buratai. But reacting on its official Twitter handle, the Army described the report as fake and mischievous news story by supporters of Boko Haram designed to dampen the morale of gallant and patriotic soldiers. Ondo State's Governor Arakunrin Rotimi Akeredolu says he is still in the state's governorship race in the October 10 election. This follows rumors of his disqualification from participating in the July 20 governorship primary election of the All Progressives Congress APC. The screening, which took place from July 8 to July 10 in Abuja, was for the 12 APC governorship aspirants in the state. Senior Special Assistant to the Governor on Media and Publicity, Ojo Oyewamide, in a statement yesterday in Akure said the rumor was a ploy to distract supporters of Akeredolu. He explains that it was another distraction unleashed with the aim of deceiving the unsuspecting public and diverting attention from the self-imposed pains on the part of those behind the story. The governor therefore appeals to all his supporters to ignore the rumor and dedicate this period to God for his continuous grace, favor, and protection. And to end Team Said Morning News, here is the recap of the highlights. Federal government to spend 11.86 trillion naira in 2021. Stranded 247 Nigerians in Thailand and Malaysia due to COVID-19 return home. National Parents Teachers Association set to meet federal government today over school resumption. Poultry Association of Nigeria raises alarm over effects of COVID-19 on industry. SERAP asks court to compel state governors to fund healthcare with security votes. And finally, Governor Rotimi Akeredolu says he is still in governorship race. That ends Team Said Morning News as edited by Afolabi Koka. The news was brought to you by Olamide Teju. Good morning and have a great week ahead.
Tipside FM, Òkè Àgbójà. Bẹ́ẹ̀ làwa ń ṣe ní Tipside Radio Station. Ìlera yìí ń wo níjẹ̀bùkẹ́ ṣá o. Tiwa làwọn kan ṣe gbogbo radio station. Ẹ jẹ́ ká jọbọ. Bẹ́ẹ̀ làwa ń ṣe ní Tipside Radio Station. Ìyàgbọ́sà làwa wà. Tiwa làwọn kan ṣe gbogbo radio station.